Bismillah and welcome to another episode of The Bridge. Today I have a close friend of mine that I met out in Umrah, and very humble brother coming out from Tottenham, known to you as maybe Indian, to us known as Abdul-Kareem. A very humble brother coming from Tottenham. Jazakumullah khair for coming, bro. And, you know, I know you from Umrah and been a big man and doing your thing over there, mashallah. So getting into it from your side, you know, we usually ask where you're from, how old was you when you came here, or if you was born here, where was you born? Just a little quick, you know, background, basically.
Yeah, I was born in North London, North Middlesex Hospital. Originally from Tottenham, born and raised, Broadwater Farm to be precise. Yeah, that's where I'm from still.
So Tottenham is similar to like Lewisham Borough. Is it a borough?
No, it's Tottenham's an area within the Haringey Borough.
Oh, it's in Haringey Borough. And so the area you just said is another area within Tottenham.
Yeah, no, it's the name of the estate.
Oh, okay.
But like it's well known.
Okay.
For many reasons.
Okay. So you're born, as you said, in this country then?
Yeah.
So how was your life like as a youngster in here? Was you in an area where you're predominantly black, mixed? What was it?
Yeah, it was a multicultural area. Growing up for me, alhamdulillah, I had a good upbringing, man. You know, my mum was a youth worker. Didn't really need for anything. You get what I'm saying? She tried to kind of shelter us from the estate that we lived on because there was a lot of activities going on, you get me? And she tried to keep us indoors for as long as possible, but then it got to a time where I wanted to be outside, you get me? And I never really had a father in my life like that. He was about, but he had like another family, so he was backward and forward between families, you get me? But more time he was in Hackney with his family over there, you get me? So he wasn't really about like that,
So he come through, but wasn't he present in the home, like stayed over and taught you manners and etiquettes and all that?
Not really much so. I mean, he was a ras, innit? So he kind of, from our early ages till about late teens, like I was a ras, you get me? Like I had dreads and all them kind of things, you get what I'm saying? So yeah, I kind of grew up as a rasta. You see me? But I didn't really follow that. I just had the dreads, you get me? So it got to a point where, because I didn't follow that religion, I didn't really understand it. He didn't really teach us anything really other than you don't eat pork and, you know, we used to go to these Naya Bingi like sessions, you get me? Like where the Rasta and play like these big bongo drums on. You get me? But other than that, those are like early memories of like practicing the Rastafarian thing. I couldn't even really tell you what it's about. You get what I'm saying?
I was about to ask what is Rastafarian about, but
I couldn't really tell you.
I didn't know it was a religion or anything like that.
I couldn't really tell you, but when we got to about 19, I cut my dreads off and just kind of started carving out my own path.
So Abdul-Kareem, just taking you back, firstly in terms of primary age, how was your schooling? How was your schooling in primary age? Did you do all right in education? Were you doing well in school?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, my primary school it's like everything was on my estate.
Okay.
Right. My estate was a bit unique compared to other estates, you get me, that I know of, because everything, it was like self-contained, like a freeway, like it was like a one-way in, one-way out sort of thing.
Okay.
On the estate, we had shops, dry cleaners, laundrette. We had nursery, primary school. Everything was like self-contained on the estate.
City within a city.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And that's how we kind of grew up, you get me? Like, obviously, we had Tottenham, but we classed ourselves as something separate from Tottenham. So all the man them that you would have heard about, TMD, and we always classed ourselves as something separate from everyone. You get what I'm saying?
And so moving on to secondary school, in terms of how did you do in school, secondary school, and also as you were getting older, did you get involved in anything which, caused problems for you in later on in life or something?
So secondary school, I mean, I started out okay, but like I didn't really last too long in there. You know what I'm saying? Like I got removed from school in year 8. I must have had a fight with a youth, and I ended up like backing out a knife on him, and then it's just, that was like immediate dismissal, you understand? And then I never really got back into
And
secondary
that was on the
school.
estate as well? School's on the estate or outside?
No,
the
this is
estate?
secondary school now.
Outside the estate, yeah? Okay, there's no school.
no,
Okay.
no. Outside the estate. This was Winchmore Hill.
Okay.
So I didn't really get back into mainstream school from there. Like I went to a unit, but the unit wasn't really serious. Again, the teachers weren't serious. You get me? And when I kind of discovered that they weren't really serious, you get me? Like I just wouldn't turn up.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Because they weren't really calling my mum and saying to my mum, "Yo, like your son doesn't turn up. You're just, if you're there, you're there." If you're
They
not,
couldn't be
you're not.
bothered as well.
What is the point of unit? Because even over here, they do the same. You get kicked out of school, you go to a unit. But I remember the people that used to go unit used to go like twice a week.
Yeah, something like that. And even the work that they're giving you is like some baby work. So it's like you'll quickly run through it. And it's like you're having to wake up school hour times, you understand, and be there for like school hour times. You get me? But what they're giving you is like, it's like a waste of time, you get me? So like you just quickly get bored, you understand? So like I said, there was times when I just wouldn't turn up. And then obviously that led to me just being on the road. I'm linking my friends now. You get me? That's also not in school. And then it was just kind of a...
So are you comfortable speaking about in terms of what happened on the road, and did it eventually lead you to go into prison, or you didn't go into prison, or what happened on...
No, I didn't really go to prison until like earlier on in my life. You get what I'm saying?
Later on in life. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so like 15, 16, like, I mean, I attended college. I went to a college when I was old enough to get to college, and I've done like a leisure and tourism course, but I finished that, but like I didn't really continue with education after that. And like obviously in school, you get me, like I was introduced to like smoking and all that stuff, you get me? So it's like I just kind of just went down that kind of road where you're just smoking weed, you're just hanging on the road, you're not really doing much, you get what I'm saying? And then obviously, you know, they say the devil makes work for idle hands, you get me? And then you just start getting into trouble, just doing foolishness.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Because you're not really doing nothing with your time, you understand? And because daddy weren't around, so to speak, you get me? Like I never really had much discipline like that. Like my mum, she done the best for me, but like I said, I got to an age where you kind of needed your father in your life. You understand? You get me, to kind of keep on the straight and narrow sort of thing. You understand? Kind of give you that kind of firm discipline. But it got to a point where my mum couldn't really handle me like that. You get what I'm saying?
Did you disrespect her in any way?
Nah, no way.
Yeah.
No way. But at the same time, when I wanted to do what I wanted to do, I kind of, like, once I was outside, I was doing what I was doing. So only after a while, my mum would start to find out that I was getting involved in certain things, and you get me? But by then it was kind of like too late. You get me? Like these times I'm like 16, 17 now. On a bit more size, you understand? You get me? Less easier to control, and you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then...
So how many brothers and sisters you have? Or is it just you?
Well, from my mum's side, it was me and one sister and two brothers. But one of my brothers passed away a couple of years ago still.
Okay, younger than you?
Younger than me, yeah.
So did they also go into the road life?
No, not really, no. It's something that I kind of always kept them away from. And so because I understood the implications of being on the streets, you understand? And like it got to a point for me, you understand, where I couldn't be on the roads, you get me, and then be worrying about them and what they're doing, you get me? So I always kept them out of it. You get what I'm saying? So
how did it conflict in your brain? Because obviously you're so deep in it now. Because sometimes you find brothers, even these areas, are on the road and they're kind of happy for their brothers to be on the road with them. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But then when the question for you is you're on the road, but you don't want them to be on the road. So how did that kind of make you stay on the road if you didn't want them to be on the road?
Because, you know, it is a lot of things that I was involved in and keeping up with. Like I only had, like, what's the word? Like I was only able to worry about myself. I couldn't be worrying about me and then worrying about you lot as well. You understand? So they wasn't allowed to be involved in nothing. You understand? More time they had to stay at home. Obviously, them being kids, you understand, and hearing certain things that your brother's getting involved in. They're trying little things, but they will always get pulled up. Understand? And always keep them away from certain things. You understand that they was just never allowed.
So would you say there was a conscience in you that you knew what you was on was kind of wrong, but you're in it kind of thing? Or at that time was like you didn't see it as wrong, like I'm just on a road and this is part of life kind of thing?
Yeah, and I just didn't have the time to be worrying about you lot. You understand? Like I was so caught up. You understand? Like I couldn't. You get what I'm saying? Like you lot just
extra burden on my head.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So yeah.
And saying that at that time, so South London, it always had a presence of Islam, whether it's from Brixton or Lewisham or Peckham, but it had kind of like a vibe of Muslims are there. Was that there in North London, especially on your estate?
No, it wasn't. But funny enough, regarding my situation, my mum's born Muslim. And obviously her side of the family are Muslim, so it's like I always had Islam in my life, but just didn't recognize it for what it was. So for instance, like when we would go to my mum's family, they would eat with their hands. Like I would see them like praying on the mat and like talking to themselves. I forget. And obviously growing up, when we went to that side of the family, that was just them.
Okay.
We didn't really know what was what, but we just knew that when we go to that side of the family, like these are the things they do. They eat with their hands. They pray on the mat in a room quietly. And there's even a couple of times when like me and my sister, like when my aunt would be praying and like would like peep through the crack of the door and watch her, and me and her would like be laughing with each other, like what's she doing, sort of thing. You get me? And then like we'll go sit down with mum, like maybe forget that she's praying, and as soon as she comes out, like she'll box us, like not box us in our face, but like she'll grips us up. You get me? Like when you see me like praying, whatever, like you get me? Like, no, ever. You understand? Yeah, and all that. You get what I'm saying? So,
but did you have a concept of Allah? Yeah, or Prophet, was that in your heart or anything?
Even though like my dad wasn't really around, like he always kind of raised us to be God conscious. You get what I'm saying? And obviously as a Ras, like enough of the supplications that he would refer to would be from like the Psalms of David and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So obviously growing up, like if I wanted to protect myself, or like I would recite some Psalms and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying, bro? You get me? But as I got older, I think it might have been around like 20s now. I remember being on the estate and a brother come out of jail. And
brother or your brother?
No, a brother.
A brother.
Muslim brother, yeah?
Like a friend of mine, you understand? Like Mickey came out of jail and he was talking to me about Islam, you get me? But obviously, like it was a bit strange coming from him because I've always kind of known Islam, but like it's not something I've ever been interested in.
Okay.
But when he's come out of jail now and like, he's talking to me and like, his whole mannerisms, you get me, kind of changed slightly, you understand? So it was a bit weird for me, you understand? So obviously, like when he's talking and stuff like that, it's kind of like, I'm kind of like praying him, you get me? Like what's this brother on sort of thing, you understand? And I remember one night, he was on the estate and was on the estate for hours, like till morning, like coming up to like Fajr time. But obviously, like I didn't know it to be Fajr, but I'm just kind of making you know the kind of times that we was there. And he was speaking to him about Islam, you get me? And it's like everything what he was saying it's like he was just hitting home. It's like connecting, you get me? And I'm thinking, subhanAllah, like what is this, you get me? And then we've left the estate now. And like he's playing Quran in the car, you get me? So then we're driving now. I follow him to go and grab something, and then police pulled, like as we pull off on out of the estate, police jukes us. So then we've got out of the car now, we get searched. They found weed on me, you understand? And him, they asked him like if he's got license, insurance, whatever, not. They said no. He said no, obviously. So then I think just because they just started their shift, they said, look, basically, we've just started our shift. We're going to let you lot go. But if we see you for the rest of the day, you're getting nicked. So because I see him like dealing with my brethren like that, yeah, I've said to the officer, and I'm not kind of like obviously it's like you're kind of in a cool conversation sort of vibe with them. You get me? So I go to the officer like, as funny as it sounds, I goes, give me out my weed. That just being cheeky sort of thing. You get him? So like the man's looked at the thing, he looked at me, and he's gone like that. So I've grabbed it. You jumped in the car, you've driven off. So like, he's saying like Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So I'm like, what's this? You get me? It's like, what? But Allah just protected us and all this. Like, what's this? You understand? Like, I want to be Muslim. You understand?
Oh, that type of protection.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, you get me? Like what? Like, what's, you get me? Like, you just, like, I was confused. You get what I'm saying? But I'm like, yo, like, I want to be Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say Muslim. I said I want to be on
You're on,
you
basically.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know if it was like the following week or a couple of weeks after that, you get me? Like, he brought me to this masjid and basically I've taken my shahada.
MashaAllah. How
It's
old are
only-
you in your 20s now, yeah?
Yeah.
Early 20s.
Early 20s. So I've taken my shahada and I remember like everyone gathering around saying, oh, like, what name shall we call him? So they was calling out all these different names. And I heard like this little voice at the back say, Abdul-Kareem.
MashaAllah.
So I've said, yeah, that name. So they're saying, oh, like, what name? Because like, there's about good 10 brothers like calling out different names. And I heard Abdul-Kareem. So I said, yeah, Abdul-Kareem.
MashaAllah.
So I've taken that name. I just had that name, alhamdulillah. But what I came to realise, obviously years of practicing and gaining knowledge, that the masjid that I took shahada in was a Sufi masjid.
Okay.
Understand? And even like the first couple of times of going to the masjid after taking shahada, like we used to do these weird things, you get me? Like they would play like the tambourine drums and like there'd be like a big circle and like everyone's kind of like doing some little dance thing, like in a rotating circle. And then like when it comes to your time, like you've got to like do your thing and come down the middle on some dancing thing. So obviously like man's doing all that, you understand?
I can't picture Abdul-Kareem.
It was awkward for me because obviously all this stuff is new to me. But I was thinking, all right, cool, like this
I
must
can't
be
picture you doing it. That's the only thing. That's why I'm laughing so much.
this must be a part of Islam. Like I don't know, you get what I'm saying. So obviously, like I've done it, but obviously, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, on a positive, akhi, look, you know what? They facilitated your shahada.
No,
And end of the day, they're still Muslims.
no,
So it's still a positive.
no,
You know, that was the masjid that said, yo, Bismillah, come here.
no,
And you're still, you know, your legacy is connected to them.
no.
Remember, it's one of the brothers, they will say, look, Abdul-Kareem,
No,
your name came from that masjid.
Yeah. And the brothers, you get me, like to this day, don't let me live that down. You get me, like like you in the masjid dancing around on some. But alhamdulillah, you know, Allah guides. You know, so
Okay. So in terms of from that time, you know, especially from the dean side, did you struggle with the dean? Did you get support from the brothers that were around you at that time, or was it difficult?
at that time, like being like a new Muslim, and this is something that I regularly see. You get me, like brothers, like they get people to take shahada, but like they don't really follow up with them. You get me? So it's like, all right, cool, I've got them to take shahada. That's it. That's you done. So for me, it's like, no, I never really had no support in them early days. You get me? So it was kind of like a Muslim, but I'm still involved in certain things and like going to raves and involved in.
It's all right. You were dancing in the masjid anyway, so you carry on.
That's no different, yeah?
You know, but alhamdulillah, what I did notice is that a lot of the things that I was involved in, it's like since taking shahada, I don't know, it's like things started to become less appealing.
Okay.
Like being in the dances and stuff like that, it's like I started to become aware of everything that I was involved in. You understand? And
on ends, did everybody know? Okay, you know your name was Indian.
Yeah.
Well, he's a Muslim now. Did everybody know that? Did everybody respect that?
One of the things that kind of attracted me as well, because obviously around about them times, you had like SMS and PDC and all these people. You get me? Like, and they was obviously screaming like Islam and I just, obviously it's a lack of knowledge in it, but like I kind of just, there's a lot of things that I heard, you get me, around the way they were moving, you get me, like with the deen and stuff like that. I thought, you get me, like this is like some bad boy religion. You get what I'm saying? But so this fits me perfect. You get what I'm saying?
A lot of people say that, innit?
Yeah.
It has that reputation.
Yeah. So I thought,
they played their part, bro. They played their part in, you know, giving dawah.
I said, like this
brothers
thing,
on the fence right there.
Yeah, I said, this thing fits me perfect. You get me? And then, alhamdulillah.
So taking you back now, you know, the Tottenham Riots, which was 1985.
Yeah.
I think they raided a house. There was a lady that they kind of like, you know, she died in that raid.
Yeah.
And the next day, I think it was 1985, the riot started. How old were you then?
So I would have been 4 years old then.
Oh, you were very young.
Yeah, I was a baby, man.
Okay, but do you remember, I think a police officer, what's the name? PC Blakelock, yeah, was kind of like
decapitated. and all that.
decapitated with a machete. It's a deep thing, man.
Oh, what's that? Mark Lambie's thing. Was it Mark Lambie or someone else that they said done that?
No, he was one of the people that got nicked for it still.
Oh, he got nicked for it, but he didn't do it, yeah?
There's a good, I think about a good 12 man got nicked for it still.
Okay, he was one of them when I was reading up on it, yeah.
He was like one of the younger. Him and one Greek, he was like, they were like the two youngest.
That was in that group that happened. He actually got decapitated.
Yeah.
There's women nobody clearly knows who done. There's a lot of allegations, but in terms of
Because of that, though, because of the riot and because of the women being killed.
there's a lot of tensions, isn't it? I mean, what was police and the community there?
Like, just going back a little bit before that, obviously you had the Windrush, you get me? So you had a lot of West Indian families like moving over here and like coming over here with their children and stuff like that and trying to build a new life, you get me? Trying to get their kids to integrate into this new society, you understand? But the only thing is the society wasn't accepting them. And the vision that the parents had come in here like, yeah, we're going to have a new life, a good life. Obviously, they wasn't prepared for the racism that they was about to reach. So obviously the kids growing up, trying to fit into like mainstream schools, you get me, predominantly being white, they dealt with a lot of racism and stuff like that. So they grew up angry. And then obviously you had the police that would walk the streets again. And obviously every time they saw black youths, like ain't no real difference.
Saying,
you understand what I'm saying? Like you'll pull them up, you understand? And they had this thing called a sus law where they could just arrest them like for just
suspicion.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So obviously like there was a lot of anger towards the police, you understand? So obviously like them growing up, you get me, like, and obviously that anger filtered through to the children. And regarding the riots now, so 85, there's a guy named Floyd Jarrett. He was driving his own car, BMW. Or like or the police, for instance, you get me? Like when they see man driving certain things, they think you've stolen it or you just can't
afford it. What are you doing with it?
You get what I'm saying? So they've juked him, arrested him. When they've arrested him, they've gone through his property and taken his keys while he was in the cell. And then they've snuck into his house without no warrant.
Because that lady's name was Cynthia Jarrett.
Cynthia Jarrett.
Was his mum or his wife?
That's his mum.
His mum, okay.
So when they've gone into the house now, obviously she's shocked, thinking like, what's going on? So she's tried to kind of apprehend them sort of thing, and they kind of pushed her over. She ended up having a heart attack. They've gone back I've heard that they've come back, and obviously when they've released him, his keys is in his property. So they've obviously come back and put his keys back. So obviously he's come out, gone home, and realised that his mum's dead. He's obviously found out what happened. So obviously, just like 2011, so people congregated from the estate and come down to the police station. Little placards and all that, like demanding justice. You get me? Obviously, he's out there upset, speaking about the situation. Like, you get me? Like, I was driving my own car. They've arrested me for driving my own car. They've taken my keys, gone into my house, pushed my mum over. She's had a heart attack.
Yeah.
You get me? So obviously tension started to rise. You get me? Like obviously the word was getting about. Understand? And this was just, I think, about a week or a month just before just after the Brixton riots. So there was
2 weeks after.
So there's already
tension going on.
You get what I'm saying? So then obviously when that's happened now, it's like there was on autopilot, like ready to go. You get what I'm saying? So boom, everyone's gathering on the estate. But the police, they get to the estate and they surround the whole estate, you understand, start beating their shields, basically saying that you lot ain't going nowhere. You black.
They're actually saying it, yeah?
Yeah, like you black bastards, excuse my language, you understand, and beating their drums, you get me, like just making bare noises like sort of thing. So they had them kettled in sort of thing. So as they're moving in, obviously the people the residents on the estate, you get me, like they're obviously fighting back, throwing bottles, all sorts of stuff. You get me, burning cars, making block. What's it called when you block the roads and all that?
Blockades?
Barricades and all that stuff there. You understand? And just warring with the police, blood. You understand? Like just warring with them. And then obviously the PC Blakelock, obviously in the midst of things, I think like when they're running down the police and warring with the police, he end up
falling over or something.
Yeah, running with the police, but he end up getting left behind.
Okay.
So obviously the crowds obviously ambushed him and just just went mad on him, innit?
Mm.
So that's happened. So obviously, me being 4 years old, automatically I've inherited that beef between the Broadwater Farm community and the police. You understand? So growing up,
So that carried on, yeah.
Yeah.
In the estate, everybody kind of hated the police.
yeah,
Okay.
and the police hated the residents of the estate because of PC Blue Club.
Okay.
So growing up, there was always like a high,
Tension, yeah.
high tension and always like a big police presence on the estate. You understand? And obviously, as we got older, I mean, like, as kids, you understand, like they would pull my father over or pull their elders over. You understand? And then have us standing on the side. You get me? While they're getting searched. And it got to the point as we're getting older now, you get me, like they're starting to run us down, like chase us now, you get me, and pull us up and bite us up and push us against the fences and search us. And you get what I'm saying? And it got to the point where, because they knew the dislike that people had for them, they would do dumb things like just drive on the estate, like sirens blaring, you understand? And just like press hard on the brakes, slide the door open, everyone will run off. And then I'll just be laughing. You get what I'm saying? It's like just to get that reaction. You understand? And it's like they would always do things like that. You get me? Like run up on the estate. You understand? You get me? Run people down, and you get what I'm saying.
So, on your opinion, Akhi, look, you know, a way forward. At the same time, especially as Muslims, we don't want crime. We don't want youngsters getting killed or youngsters killing themselves. Would you say a way forward is for the community, or, you know, Tottenham, on the estate, or even the Muslims, advise the police, talk to the police, or we should say, look, you know what, it's kind of like, you know, a racist, it's kind of Islamophobic, you can't do nothing with them, what would be your approach?
I mean, I made a documentary called The Hard Stop, and like we've done a lot of screenings, and one of the screenings we've done, you get me, that was with the police. I understand, for them to do like a case study.
Okay.
So then in the Q&A now, that they was asking us questions, basically like, how can we build bridges between the communities and the police? I'm saying that you look after like go back to the drawing boards, you get me, like and rewrite the way you look police the streets. You understand? And it ain't something like that's gonna happen overnight. You get what I'm saying? But you don't need to change the way you look police the streets. You understand? Like, you're not supposed to be civil servants. You understand? That kind of work for the community. You understand? You get me, and support them wherever need be. You get me? But like, you don't abuse your authority. You stop like kids. You get me? Like whenever you feel to. You understand? And make up excuses about, you know, suspicion of this or that. And you get me? Like, people are just tired of it, bro. You understand? And
so would you say, look, advising them, engaging with them is an approach? Would you say, look, because it's still kind of like problematic, keep away? What would you say?
Yeah, it's got to take a lot of work, man. You get me? Because like I said, there's no trust with the police, bro. Like, there's no trust at all. You understand? You get me? So for them to earn any trust, you get me? Like I said, they've got to change the way they police the streets. You get me? And then maybe, you get me, like people like standing back and observing certain things will see that, you know, like, okay, like their approach is different. You get me? And I think a little bit of their approach is down to the fact of how they see us deal with each other. So they feel they have to be aggressive. Understand, to kind of put that fear in you and that control.
Okay.
Because they see how aggressive we are with each other. You get me? In terms of how we deal with each other when it comes to certain things. You get me? Allah knows best. You get me? But
so would you say that would also be the way we treat one another? A bit of respect, a bit of love, a bit of care, less
Unity.
kind of like, more unity. But at the same time, you know, when you said that you went to the oldest went to the police station, actually, that's power, man. I remember Malcolm X done that. Yeah, or, you know, when Nation guy got kind of like attacked. The Nation in New York went to the police, going to the police station for justice and demanding justice. I think very few communities would do that.
But you know what it is, and a lot of people might say, like the viewers may say, "Oh, like what are you talking about?" But it's like in Tottenham, for instance, we've had like 5 deaths by the hands of the police. You get me? Like Cynthia Jarrett, Joy Gardner, Roger Sylvester, Mark Duggan, and Jermaine Baker. You get me?
Yeah.
Like about a year or two.
All from the estate.
4 of them was, you could say, is from the estate. You get me? Like or just like surrounding the estate, very close to the estate. You get what I'm saying? But like Tottenham like smaller than Brixton and Hackney and all them places. You get me?
Yeah,
So it's a lot of deaths. You understand? You get me? Like from that area. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I mean, like this is stuff that the kids have been dealing with for years, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like, so in terms of like the trust with the police, man, like
completely not there.
Completely not there, bro.
So moving forward, 1993, I think it was a Stephen Lawrence murder, just around these ends. 1999, I think was there was an inquiry, and they found the police to be institutionally racist. Moving forward, 2011, you had the riots, and that's after, Mark Duggan was killed. You knew him personally. Do you want to speak about your relationship with him?
Yeah, I mean, like, me and Mark, like I said, me and Mark, because obviously we're from the same estate, you get me? Like, went to the same nursery. Like he lived, so I lived on deck. He lived on 4th floor, same block. You get what I'm saying? So me and him, we would have been 4 years old, you get me? Like, when the riots happened. I remember, like, being, like, I think some of my earliest memories of the riots is, like, I remember my mum coming into the room and wrapping me and my sister up in blankets and moving us one of the outskirt blocks, because obviously like the riots was like where my block is, you get me, like which is like the heart of the estate, Tangier block. So then you got surrounding blocks, you understand? So I remember my mum moving me and my sister, like wrapping us in blankets and moving us over to my auntie's block, Manston. And yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday, you get me? And I remember like looking through the window from my bunk bed, you get me? And it just looked orange outside, you get me? So fire and all that, you get what I'm saying? So, like I said, we would have been 4 years old, you understand? But obviously growing up, we've inherited that beef. So the police automatically had a hate for anyone that's from Broadwater Farm, whether you're black, white, Chinese, whoever you understand? Like, if you're a male predominantly and you're from the estate, like, police just automatically hated you. If they know you're a resident from the farm, they see you out on the outskirts of the farm, you get me, like, they're choking you down and just making your life hell.
One of the things you mentioned on Umrah to me, that you spoke to him about Islam and he was like sympathetic or understanding. Is that correct?
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, we've both grown up since babies. So when he started seeing me start to make this transition, and a lot of the guys from the estate, you get me, like, were interested in Islam. So like, we'd have conversations about Islam. He would always be there, you get me, like, and he would always stay quiet and really take in the conversation, you get me. And I would notice that about him. You understand? Like, I can see that this stuff that we're talking about, like, is penetrating him. And just a couple of times, you get my, I'd say to him like you need to become Muslim, man. Like, take your shahada, and he'd be like, yeah, I'm going to take my shahada soon.
He said that, yeah?
Yeah, I'll take it soon. And then, but obviously these times, you get me, like, like I said, for me, it's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you get me? So like, there's times like we'll be coming from a dance and then like randomly he'll say, when I become Muslim, like man ain't going to be on all this coming out and raving and blah, blah, blah.
He would say that to you.
He would say that to
you. Yeah.
Like, man ain't going to be on all this coming out and raving and blah, 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 blah. And I would take note of these things, you understand? You get me? But for me, like, going forward, you get me? Like I said earlier on, it's like a lot of things started becoming like less appealing. I think one of the major things, you get me, which was like a turning point for me, is when I was in a dance. So I remember like one of the men coming in from Brixton, and obviously he'd been away for like about 2 years. I heard that he was trying to practice and so on and so forth. And prior to that 2 years, you get me, he had come to a rave, you understand, and shot up the dance, you get me, and ended up killing like some innocent people, you get me. And then so 2 years later now, he's come to this dance, and obviously there's people in the dance that was related to the youth, and that this particular youth apparently licked down, you get me, and then he ended up getting licked down in that dance, you get me, like Muslim.
He was a Muslim, yeah?
Yeah. And I, like, reflecting upon that, I said to myself, subhanAllah, like, look at that, bro. Like, the guy, I hadn't seen him in no dances for about 2 years. And the last I heard that he was trying to practice and so on and so forth. And then it's like, he ended up coming to this dance and getting murdered. So I remember leaving the dance, you get me, and seeing. I didn't know who he was at the time, but I just remember just hearing gunshots go off, and then seeing like this person like flat on his face, like lying down in a pool full of blood. You get what I'm saying? I remember just stepping over him and running out the dance, you get me, and then obviously when we got back to the ends, you get me, like I found out who it was, and it just. I said to myself, subhanAllah, like in terms of how he was living, there was no difference. You get me, but Allah. I used him as an ayah for me. And then kind of really kind of stepped away from the streets, you understand, from there, you get me? And then kind of started attending the masjid more now, and it got to a point where I just, like Mark and them, like my friends from the estate, they just wouldn't see me again, you get me? And when they did see me, like I'm in Forbes and all that, and I just completely just changed, you get what I'm saying? Until I started hearing like little talks in a grapevine, like, raw, like my man's gone mad and all that. You get me? Like he read the Quran and he's gone mad, and they couldn't understand the transition. Understand, they see me in my fob. It's like I kind of understood, like Allah was showing me things, and I kind of understood, you get me, like what was going on here. You understand? You get me? And I think it's out of mercy that he allowed me to see these things. You get me? Because like the brother who passed away, like he could have easily been me that he was stepping over. Understand? Alhamdulillah, Allah made it to be that you know, the circumstances was different. You get me? So yeah, man.
Any of your friends from the estate became Muslim? You know,
a lot of the guys became Muslim, but you know what it is in terms of their understanding. It's like everyone. It's like Allah's blessed certain people with a good understanding of the religion, and some just hasn't grasped it yet. You get what I'm saying? So like obviously like. Where me, like I'm so obviously like I'm fully practicing now. You understand? And when I would bump into them, because I wouldn't really go to the estate again, because there's a lot of things that, like there's conversations that I couldn't really relate to man no more. You understand? Like I couldn't really get involved in conversations. Get me? Just wasn't appealing to me. Like I'm standing up there, like you're smoking weed in my face, and it's like I just wasn't interested. You get what I'm saying? So,
but do you think it's also important for you to? In a way, they have a right over you because you understand, you know, you're practicing.
You know, it is thinking about it now. Yeah, you're right. I understand. But at the time, get me, I just didn't want no association with anything to do with that life. You get what I'm saying? But
because remember, in a way, look, you know, sometimes we look at ourselves. It's not like we deserved it. You know what we might have of the deen. Allah blessed us. Allah showed us mercy. So, you know, that should be also, or can be for others. And you or we might be a vehicle towards it by engaging and speaking.
100%. 100%. But like I said, because I was a new Muslim, and even to the way that I came about practicing, it wasn't like someone was like schooling me. Understand? It's like through circumstances, you get me? It's like I just found myself drifting away from that. You get what I'm saying? So I didn't really know. All right, cool. Like I'm over here now. You get me? And I'm a bit more conscious about my own purpose. So let me start giving these lot dawah. But at the same time, when I did see man, like I would reason with them, and you know, like speak to them about Islam and certain little things like that. You get me? And a lot of the times, you get man will say, you know what, bro? Like yeah, like I hear you, but I need to make this money first. You get me? Like, I can't just drop all this out. You get me? And just be Muslim. You get me? I need to make money first. You understand? And no, I told them, look, you get me, like your money's already written for you. You get me? Like your life's already written for you, bro. You get me? But obviously, like when man are on the roads, you get me? It's like there's only so much you can tell them. You get me? When they're involved in certain things, like you have to be there yourself in order to really accept like what man are telling you.
The question I want to ask you, like, you know, sometimes we have this what you call battle in itself. Somebody wants to be on road. They don't want to completely change. Yeah, but they also believe in Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, and they want to say, and they want to believe Islam is the truth. What should we do? Should we say, look, akhi, do what you're doing, but be a Muslim? Or should we say, look, this brother ain't ready for it right now because he doesn't want to have a complete transition? Of course, the Sahaba, you know, the transition was complete. When ayats came down, khamr is haram, that's it, it's haram. You can't do this, you're not doing it. Submit to Allah and His Messenger, they're doing it. But what do you think? What do you think an approach should be with some of these brothers? Your perception and your interaction with, you know, within a community.
You know what it is? A lot of these brothers, especially the ones that are known, maybe some that I've seen come on your show, like Allah has honored them to become Muslim. I don't think they've really grasped that fact. You understand? You get me? Because there's a lot of people, you get me, that have been born and died as kuffar. Allah has honored you. You understand? You get what I'm saying? And I don't think they've really grasped that fact. So with that honor, it's like it's an amana. You get me? Like Allah's giving you something. You understand? And I think what He's given, what He's given you, it's a gift, akhi. Because ultimately, like if you succeed, He's basically saying like you'll be with me in Jannah forever.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand that, and you're trying to be on some 1 foot in, 1 foot out, it's like, are you really? I mean, Allah knows best.
But do you think it'd be a difference where, you know, because sometimes some people ask, you know, what's the difference between a non-Muslim and a non-Muslim? Especially some of the youngsters in the kind of that madrasa, you know, supplementary school kind of like age. So I would say, look, a Muslim can also do sin and bad. And a non-Muslim can do sin and bad. The difference would be the non-Muslim doing that sin is saying, cool, well, I'm free. I'm not accountable to no one. I can do this, it's okay. The Muslim might do the same sin, and let's say so, he's on road. But you know, if he's saying to himself, this ain't right, I'm sinning, I need to change. But it's, you know what, he can hope for Allah's mercy.
No.
So sometimes I have that approach to say, look, okay, take your shahada. We had a youngster last week took shahada. So he says, look, I'm on road. I said, look, take your shahada. He's going to meet you today. He's coming, inshallah. He's going to meet you tonight. He's coming out with us. He says, took shahada last week. So, yeah. And even he phoned me today. He said, look, you know what? I'm still on road. What do you think? My name, he's asking about his name change. But it's a journey. You know, like yourself. You came through a stage, but that was Allah Ta'ala, you know, preparing you to eventually use the word ayah, which is a sign and a miracle, to see that brother in that situation and say, time for me to now make some major changes and so on. But that would be maybe an approach, I'm saying. Moving on, Abdul-Kareem, in terms of the Mark Duggan riots 2011. Now you know, at that time you're a big man. I remember, I don't know where I met you, but I remember speaking to you about that at that time. Before the Umrah. I know we spoke about it on Umrah. But I think you mentioned you're in that group that went to the police station and said, look, something needs to be done. Can you speak a bit about that?
So when he died, so I hadn't really seen him for about 2 years, because like 2 years prior to him dying, again, like I was fully practicing like in the masjid and just staying away from like all of that, as I said. And then I remember it was Ramadan, and I'm just about to break, like just waiting to break fast, and I think it could even have been was in itikaf. I think I might have been in itikaf as well.
Subhanallah.
And I remember getting a phone call from my cousin, and he said to me, "Oh, like, have you heard about Mark?" So I was like, "What?" He goes, "Oh, apparently he was in a shootout with the police." So I was like, "Mark? Like, no way. Like I know my friend, innit? Understand that, right? Like, cool, yeah, like, yeah, you might keep up with certain things, but like shootout with the police, that's like a death wish, bro." So I was like, "What? That's a madness." I'll hang up the phone. I've called the estate. Yo, like, what's going on? You get me? Like, everyone that I'm calling, they're just bawling and all that on the phones. I think to myself, right, like, what's going on? I've left the masjid. I've got someone to come pick me up. I've left the masjid. Got to the estate now. And his little brother, Marlon, like, he's just bawling. So I'm like, right, like, what's going on? And they said, oh, like, Mark's dead. So I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean he's dead? Oh, yeah, like the police shot him. So it's like, subhanAllah, it's like my heart just broke, bro. You understand? Like, just before him, but a couple months just before he, like, and growing up, you understand, you get me? Like, see, because of the reputation of where we're from and a lot of our affiliates, we didn't really have to do much badness to have respect. You get me? It's like, we just came under the umbrella of certain people. You get me? So like, wherever we went in London or England, you get me? It's like, we would just recognize, yeah, them man are from Tottenham. That's, understand? So a lot of the time, you get me? Like, when we're doing certain things, we'll just take the P and violate, you understand? And no one couldn't really do much, you understand? Because of who we're connected to. So we never really experienced nothing serious. And then, like one of the men then got killed in a dance. He got stabbed and killed. And that was like a shock. You get me? I think to myself, subhanAllah. And like that was a fitna for me because, like I said, I'm practicing. I haven't spoken to these lot for ages.
Mm-hmm.
But how I was, it's like dealing with certain things, it's like it's ABC. You understand? Like there's no shuffling. You understand? And I see the man them like was shuffling and certain stuff. You get me? I just couldn't understand it. You understand? So it's like I was getting wiswas. You get me? Like, yo, like, forget these lot, go and do what you're doing. You understand? You get me? And it's like I chat to Mark, I said to him, like, yo, like boom, boom, boom. And he's like, nah, you get me? Like, just chill out, you understand? You get me? Like, you're not involved in certain things and all that. Just chill out. I'm like, bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, what's the man I'm on? You understand? Like, you understand? And then moving on from that now, obviously, he's been killed now. And it just kind of just spiraled me away from who I was. You get me? Like 2 years to him being killed. You get me? Like I'm around the family. I'm missing Salah. And
difficult for you, yeah?
it was just difficult, Akhi. You get what I'm saying? So then obviously time's going on. So he died on the 4th of August. Families have gathered at his house the following day. And it was summertime in it, so like they had like a barbecue thing going on. Oh, not a barbecue, but like they were cooking food on a barbecue. They was playing music, whatever. No, you get me. So someone's announced on the mic. You get me. Like the following day, we're gonna go to the police station, basically demand some answers on why why the police hasn't come to his mom's house to announce his death, and 2 to find out why he'd been killed.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. So the next day, we've gathered on the estate around about, I think 3 o'clock or something like that. Like a couple of the youngsters, get me, like made up some little idiot placard saying justice for Mark and whatever. So anyway, we've moved out, but the crowd was made up of like women and children at first.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So, and there was like a handful of the man them, you get me, that was there. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, we got to the station. The mother of his kids has gone into the station to basically report his death and to find out why the police hadn't gone to his house to basically announce his death. So she was basically asked to like basically just wait outside quietly, and some chief constable or some kind of high police is on his way to come and speak to you. So he was out there for about an hour, and like we ain't seen no police. Like police is driving past. You understand? You get me? Like, and obviously, like we're miskeen in it. Like we're not really trying to do nothing. But at the same time, it got to a point where, all right, 3 hours is going past, like 4 hours.
And people are just waiting outside still.
And the crowd started building up, you understand?
Well, okay.
And then but police started coming and all that. And obviously, like the Tottenham was playing. So
Okay.
so you had the fans coming at the stadium at that time now. So you had a lot of police now that was coming on the streets, getting like trying to do crowd control and all that. So anyway, I think about five hours has gone by. Police ain't come. They've gone into the station and they basically told someone the officer can't make it. And the officer can't make it, and basically like just clear the streets. And they've locked the police station. They've locked it. You understand? You get me? So obviously we're out there for like 5 hours now, anticipating the officer's arrival and what he's going to tell us regarding Mark's situation. No one don't know what happened. We just heard, you get me, that he got stopped in a cab. He's jumped out, and then police has shot him dead. You get me? So obviously when we was told to clear the streets, you get me, like everyone's like kind of looking at each other. And like I said, bearing in mind, like his mum's out there, my mum's out there. So it kind of just, it's like, what now sort of thing. You get what I'm saying? So I just said to my mum, look, just go home. I said to myself, before I come off this high road, like, I'm going to mash up one of these police officers, you get me? because obviously like they're doing, like I said, crowd control. So I've kind of just walked off, called two youngers, because obviously they got officers that their cars parked up. I called two youngers. Yeah, like there was like a road just off by where the police station is. I said, you lot go over there, you get me, pretend you're fighting with each other, throw each other on the car and all that. You understand? To lower the officer down the road, you understand? But it's like, I don't know if they've got message, like if they've been radioed or whatever, not to get me, like to basically clear the streets, because they can see that tension's rising with people now. More people's coming, people's getting upset now. You can see people are angry now. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
So obviously the officer he didn't bite the bait. So he's ended up leaving. So our frustration, we ended up smashing up the police car, setting it alight, pushing it in the road.
You said this before? You said that on camera and documentary? You said
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Incriminate yourself there.
Nah. I've done the time, you get me? But obviously, looking back on things now, you get me, like, if I could have gone back and done things different, I definitely would have done that, you understand? But like I said, I'm acting out of emotions, you understand? Like I've lost like a close friend of mine.
I'm listening to the story and my heart is rage, bro, as I'm listening to the story. I'm never gonna lie. So I can imagine how, forget parents, as a friend, you would feel, especially, I don't know if you've left the road, but you're still, there's people don't understand, even if you've left the roads, your mind is wired in such a way you can easily go back to that in a split second.
Exactly.
Literally, like it takes one person to say the wrong thing on the wrong day at the wrong time to go back to that mind frame.
You know, I don't think it's completely negative, because sometimes also what we, like what we teach, and that's like isolate yourself. Let's say a non-Muslim is being oppressed. It's nothing to do with me. But you going back to see, you know what, that's my boy. You know, we grew up together, and he's been. What's happened? That's Islam. Standing up for justice, so it's about after that. Okay, you know what can be done. Okay, that's another kind of like discussion in itself. But even going to the police station, demanding justice. Actually, if Muslims in that for many causes, I think things will change. So I think that's a positive. But also, you mentioned before his son, Bandoke, in terms of, you know, in Ramadan, you know, he kind of like maybe messages or tweets or something and says, any Muslims who are fasting who need food to break their fast, let me know.
Yeah.
How's your relationship with him?
I mean, nowadays I don't really see him, because obviously like I'm just doing my thing. You get me? Like he's very close with my sons. Obviously like our kids, they grew up together, you understand? So like my son sees him, but even when I went to jail for this situation and I come out, I was approached because he got removed from school, obviously dealing with the whole trauma situation with his dad. Yeah, so he got removed from school because he's ended up getting into a madness with a youth and he's had to leave. Yeah? But then he was made to go to like an alternative provision, similar to like a uni, but a little bit better.
Okay.
And when I came out just as the inquest was about to finish, and I was approached by the people that he was with and asked if I'd like to mentor him.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, of course, you get me? So I was doing that for a little while with him. Yeah, like years has gone by, you get me? And obviously like the families are still dealing with what they're dealing with, you get me? But like, alhamdulillah, now, you get me? Everyone's kind of seems to be in a good place. He's obviously doing music, and yeah, like you mentioned, you get me? Like when it came to Ramadan, like I've seen like tweets or, you know, like Snapchats, so like anyone that's fasting, you get me? Like, and you need food, like DM me, you get me? Like I'll support you with that, you get me? But he always makes a point of saying, I'm not Muslim, but, you know.
He has a respect for it though, yeah?
Yeah, you get me? Like sure. I would give anyone who wants food and stuff like that. But alhamdulillah, like for you to have that rahmah or that care.
Yeah, it's deep.
It's from Allah's part. You get me? So like, you know, when I see things like this, I think to myself, alhamdulillah, like this is guidance.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And his dad was just the same. You get me? Like he had this love and understanding for the Muslims. You get me? Like, and like I said, when we would talk, he would always say, yeah, like when I become Muslim or like when I take my shahada, and You know, it's just subhanAllah, it just never happened. So when I hear people talk, when I give people da'wah or I hear people say similar things, like, yeah, I'm going to become Muslim, you get me? And I say to them, like, if you have that feeling, like, don't delay it. Do you understand? You get me? Because death will come for you. You understand? You get me? Like,
Do it straight away.
And I use Mark as an example. Like, look, like, this is someone that was interested in Islam. Though he was living the way he was living and he's doing certain things, he had an understanding and a respect. And it just so happened that you know, he never made it.
Are you still living on your estate, Afi?
No, I still live in Tottenham, but like South Tottenham. So it's just like about like 10 minutes up the road from the farm.
MashaAllah.
No.
Yeah, so all right, cool. Moving on from that, because obviously we're limited for time, man.
No.
Gone into detail on a lot of other topics. So you've left the roads, obviously, after the whole Mark Duggan thing, you've come out, you've tried to mentor his son. What's been happening ever since then?
So since then, I tried to set up, because where he was going to get me, like, I see that they didn't really care for the youth like that. I tried to set up like a youth program myself, you get me? But like, I just wasn't getting no support with it. So I kind of got disheartened, you understand? You get me? A lot of people say like, yeah, like we need youth work and we need this and we need that. And then when you go back to the community to ask them for support,
no one's doing it.
There's no support, you get me? So I kind of just got disheartened, you get me? Like, I just kind of just started concentrating on myself. I got myself into like construction, like working as a crane operative. I've been doing that, you know. I recently got married like 2 years ago.
MashaAllah.
Just been Dean, and you know, like, I got to a point in my life where, separate from 9 to 5, that, you know, you have to call people to Islam. Me personally, like, I'm just not involved like that. I just want to go to work, have my wife, got my children, I've got grandchildren, I've got 4 granddaughters. I just lived that life, you understand? Again, like, I've lived it. I've lived and done a lot of things, you understand? And I'm just happy to be where I am right now. So, and alhamdulillah, after being Muslim for so many years, you get me? Like, I was honoured to go to Umrah. The Imam texted me and said, yeah, basically, like, this opportunity's like come up, you get me? Like, are you interested? Just like Sam said to me, like, yeah, like, go. So I said, yeah, Imam, like, I'm gonna come. So then, alhamdulillah, like, I thank Allah that He allowed me to come Umrah. And now, after being a Muslim for so long, you understand?
The right time.
Yeah, you understand? Because I don't think a lot of people appreciate the way they would have done the way I did. I mean, Allah knows best, you get me? Because when you're early Muslim, you get me, like, your knowledge is limited. So I don't know. But for me, it's like it was like a life-changing experience, bro. You get me? Like, with the Imam, like, when he's taking us on tours, you get me? Like, I'm visiting like Badr or Mount Uhud. I mean, being in the places where the Prophet Muhammad, you know, like, where he
used to walk and
yeah, do you understand what I'm saying?
And sleep, and
like when we're at Mount Uhud, you get me? Like, I'm standing on the little hill where the archers was, you get me? And then like, we're looking back on where the Prophet, peace be upon him, could have been, you understand? You get me? Like, and where the Muslims
died.
You understand, bro? You get me? It's like, and then we went to Badr. And then, like, just around the Haram, you get me? Like, where the house, like, where he was born, or where Khadija lived, or, you know, like, when you're there and you're walking in the places where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was, you get me?
It hits a lot different than reading it.
Yeah, bro, you understand that? And I think for me, you get me? Like, that was like the missing part to my Islam. Because, like, growing up in the West and becoming Muslim, like I said, like, on a couple of occasions where we've met up, it's like everything was like theory. Even like my relationship with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like, in terms of my belief, it's like I was just told that he's the Prophet, you have to believe in him, and you know, in order to, if you love Allah, then you have to love the Prophet and you have to follow his example, and you know, like, you would just do things just because you were told to do it. But when we went to Umrah now, and like I said, we're walking in the places where he was, when we went to his masjid in Medina, and we're praying in the Roda, right next to his house, where he's buried, and, you know, like, everything just connected, bro, you understand? And it's like, Allah gave me this love for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You understand that I didn't have before. You get what I'm saying? And it's like now, like I heard you say it like on the last time that we linked up, it's like even like praying your sunnahs and stuff like that, like you're taking your time. Like me, like I'll pray like the 4 before the Dhuhr and the 2 after, like in work, you understand? You can not rush. And just, you know, like another thing as well, you get me, like before going to Umrah, so I know we're in that time, it's like I would pray my 5 daily salahs, and I was always interested in people of knowledge, and with like I had this block where I couldn't progress. You get what I'm saying? And it's like since going to Umrah, it's like that block has been removed, and it's like the road for anything that I want to do is vast. You understand? Like in terms of seeking knowledge, learning Arabic, whatever the case may be. Understand? And it's just, for me right now, where I'm at is like, you know, Allah's honored you to be Muslim. And in life, we should strive to be the best at everything that we do. So Allah's honored you to be Muslim. So why not strive to be like among the elites? You understand? So like, learn the religion. You understand? Like gain knowledge. You understand? And seek knowledge in order to be granted by. Be granted with seeing Allah's face, you understand? And freeing the people from ignorance. So that's where I'm at right now, bro, man. You get me? I just want to gain knowledge, be a Talib with him, and just do that for the sake of Allah, in order that Allah allows me to the honor of seeing him and just freeing the people from ignorance, bro. Like, that's where I'm at. I mean, bro, man.
Akhair, we can keep going into Umrah and how it was and the nights that we was up and, you know, all of that, akhi. And I think about Umrah is very hard to explain to people, akhi. You have to be there, you know, you have to actually be there and experience it yourself for you to know how it really feels. But it's definitely, if you're seeking for it anyway, a game changer in your life. It's definitely a game changer in your life. So we ask that those people who have the funds for it, you know, inshallah, you know, make the move, inshallah. But lastly, we usually ask, and obviously you're a big man now, you've gone through a lot in life. What is like the one key thing you would have told your younger self or any youngster at that age?
Alhamdulillah, like nowadays, you understand, you get me, like within the community, you have like a Islamic presence. You understand, you get me? So a lot of the road, man, them like they're Muslim now, and this is stuff that we didn't really have growing up. So growing up, you get me, it was obviously influenced by our older generations, you get me? So for us growing up, it's about being the baddest you understand? So obviously growing up, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be the baddest you understand? So, but I would tell my younger self that, like, forget that, because it's all a lie. Because once you achieve that, your name's ringing, certain man, like they're taking you under their wing because your name's popping and whatever not. Once you're in them circles, you get me, you see that it's not what it cracked up to be. Like, everyone's snakes. When they're using you for their own gain, understand there's no real love and loyalty. You understand, you get me, like, and they'll use you for something or ask you to do something, and you're doing it thinking that, yeah, you get me, like, my man raised me, not knowing that he's just using you for some self-gain. And then if you get licked down or you get nicked by the police and you're put in jail for life, he just joined the next youngster, you understand? You get me? That's like that. So I told my younger self, you get me, to like, don't believe all that, it's a lie. Like the whole road life, it's all a lie, bro. It's a lie. Like, don't be deceived by it. You understand? You get me? Because there's no real love and loyalty in that. You understand? The real love and loyalty is in Islam. And that's one of the things that kind of held me to Islam. I understand? Like, when I first became Muslim, I started practicing, going to the masjids, and people that didn't know me, because they just knew that I was a new Muslim, like, they would do weird things like that, give me money. I'd think, like, what's this? But like, they're just trying to, I suppose it's sadaqah, you understand? And like the first time, like, I sat down with brothers and we all ate from the same plate. You get me? It's like all of this stuff is just like, it was so surreal. And like the actual genuine love that the brothers had for me, you understand? It's like,
you don't really find on the roads.
You don't find it on the road.
With people you've even been raised with.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Akhi? Like I said, I went to Umrah with you lot, and the love that I have for you lot, it's like, it's different to people that I've grown up with and I've known all my life, you understand? But because we've shared that personal experience in, you know, like going to the house of Allah, and it's like, those are like, for me, inshallah, are like lifelong relationships that I want to hold on to.
Inshallah.
You get what I'm saying? So alhamdulillah.
Khair, man. Jazakumullah khair, akhi. And, you know, it's very insightful, many of the things you've told us about. I hope Allah facilitates the things that you want out of life, inshallah, and makes that path easy for you, akhi. Yeah. I mean, you're a very good-hearted brother, and I can't say more than that in front of the camera. You know, there's no point of promoting you more than you are yourself, akhi. Yeah? So we'll leave it as that. Jazakumullah khair for those watching, and inshallah we'll catch you on the next one. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.